Hey guys, so what's going on? Here we are in the Rift, booting up into what looks to be, Final Fantasy XIV. I'm using a third-party tool to do this called trademark 3D. So one thing that you can't see too well on your side is that it's not the normal immersion that you get with the Rift. It's more like a flat screen displayed in front of your face, which is fine. You still get the control of it. One thing to note is that the resolution, as normal in the Rift on the developer's kit, is low. So you'll see when we get in here that a lot of things just aren't legible in writing. So you'll notice on right now that some of this isn't. So just to touch on a few things though, I am using a controller to change the current location of the camera, and I can do that way, this and that way. However, if I left click, I can use my head. So head tracking does work. You'll notice actually that my character just that's interesting, the HUD follows me. So head tracking does work, and this is one way. I'm actually looking behind me right now. And then the other way that it works is if I right click, I can turn the character with me. And you'll see how that matters when we get into the game here in a second. So let's boot up into this area. Oh yay, I'm the only person in queue. I hate when that happens. Anyway. Some of you may be wondering, how's a third-person type game gonna work? Well, there's a first-person view, but you also run into some other problems when you try that, and you'll see. I actually quite like the way the game looks in third-person and the way it controls. It's not too bad. One thing you will want to do if you're going to do this yourself is use a controller. It's pretty much impossible to play an all-keyboard game that requires you to move your hands around and stuff. And then you'll probably want to be on Skype or something with your buddies when you're doing raids and stuff. But let's just go over head tracking for a second. So if I left-click, you'll notice I'm moving the camera around my character, and I can look around. That's really nice, and it's really smooth. It's what I would have expected from a Rift game, regardless of whether or not it was supported. So that's an accreditation to the hardware. And then the other one, which you won't be able to tell right now, is right click, which looks the same but actually operates differently. So if we run around, and I'm gonna left click here, you'll notice that I can. Okay, so if I'm running around in third-person view, you'll notice that if I turn my head to the left, I will start running in that direction. If I turn my head to the right, I will start running in that direction. And all I'm doing is I'm keeping the joystick pressed up, and if I turn on auto run, now I'm not even doing anything and I'm just moving around. So you can use the left joystick to aid you in getting behind you. So I'm looking all the way to my left right now. And that's kind of annoying because I can't turn around really quick. But if I use my head and the joystick, I can get that last little bit. Let's go ahead and switch to first-person view, and we'll even turn off the HUD here. And so this is just me using the controller, which is kind of nice, but you don't get much of an effect when it comes to running around. So if we just hold the left click, and this is where I did notice a difference earlier, is if I'm moving forward and I look to my left, I'm still moving in the direction I was going before, but I can look around in first person, which would be really cool if we had general Rift support, and that's the way that worked. Now if I right click, it does something a little different. If I right click and I look that direction, I start running that direction. If I look in this direction, I start running in that direction. And again, I'm not changing which direction I'm holding the joystick. I can actually put on auto run and look around. So again, same thing. You can do some work between the head and the controller to be able to turn all the way around, and that would be really nice. So let's get to some battle mechanics here. So let's go back into third-person mode just to get a little preview of what's going on. So let's run up to this Gubu, and so I don't notice any difference in the controls. The responsiveness is there, and it's really nice. Get some goo-goo butt there. Sweet. Anyway, so that's kind of how it looks. That was a kind of a short fight. Let's call out my own goo-goo. Get somewhere with a little harder of a mob. Oh, wow, I really ran down here, didn't I? So far I've been really impressed with the Rift. The resolution obviously is low because you're splitting 720p between two eyes, and what you can't see is I'm actually using my hands to explain this, and I don't know why, because I'm not used to recording myself. And so what's interesting is that the resolution's really low, but you kind of stop noticing it after a while. And you get 3D effects, which are completely different than what you're used to seeing on a flat screen, especially in this game, which doesn't have native 3D support yet. I believe they're adding it in. But so when I'm looking up at this, I mean, it looks great. Even with the resolution being low, and you get some jaggies going on. Just this spinning etherite right here, it looks pretty freaking awesome. I would love to play this game in the Rift. I would absolutely love it. I mean, to have native support on this game, you know, you can already see that pretty well far advanced in the game as it is. But it would be a treat. So let's get up to some harder mobs so we get a little better preview. So, yeah, the controls are nice. I don't think I would play in the developer's kit Rift, just because, you know, the communication factor is a pain in the ass. You can't really talk, you can't see what's going on in your link shell or whatever. But let's get a closer view of what's going on here. And so, a lot of these effects showing up on screen are a little, not really disorienting per se, but they are really, really in your face. I mean, the screen is like, what, an inch and a half from your eyes, 2 to 3 inches from your eyes, something like that. So you'll notice that was in third-person mode. It looks pretty fine to me. But if we swap here to first-person mode, and we'll even turn the UI off so we get a little better of an experience. You'll notice that when you do an effect, it really takes up most of the screen. And that gets kind of, I mean, that was a jump right there. That gets kind of disorienting because you kind of want to know what's going on. It's totally going to die, most likely. I got to fly back. Playing all with controller right now, and so it's not difficult to play the game, even with the low graphics and all that. It's not difficult to play the game, even with the controller. Again, very responsive, and if I feel like it, I can do, you know, the whole head rolling thing with my mouse, which is pretty neat. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little view of. This is running through DirectX, so the third-party driver support is there to be able to run this in the Rift. Again, like for communication factors, it's probably not great, but it's definitely fun to watch. And okay, so that's kind of neat. Yeah, that. I'd probably play around a little bit with this stuff. You know, it might be fun to sit here and switch over to my crafting class and just do a little bit of crafting. But again, all of these menus, you can't really, you know, some of these menus you can't really see what's going on in here. I mean, I know pretty much a lot of these things already, so you can't read any of the stat menus. And I expect that that will be resolved when we get some better, we get a better resolution. But until then, I'm impressed with it as it is. The contrast is a little weird. The resolution is, not great yet, but I look forward to games that integrate with the Rift. And if, Square ends up watching this, I would love for this game to be integrated with the Rift. From what I hear, it's not too difficult. You just got to decide how your control scheme changes. And yeah, so I'm gonna sign off here and have fun in the Rift.